We have arrived. The mothership has landed. My Twitch description is wrong. So I'll fix that really quickly. There we go. Oh, you're going to do that thing? Twitch, I hate it when you do that thing. Anything but that. All right. There we go. Close that. Pop this out. Place this here. Drag this down. And we are rocking and we are rolling. Oh, well, until I did that. We are suddenly no longer rocking and rolling. All right. Oh, feels good. We're back in it. And yeah, I'm excited. I have some thoughts percolating. Hey Jeff, welcome. So yeah, I'm trying to decide what we do. Yeah, Jeff, if you weren't here for the last one, it's super fun. The XML files are surprisingly accessible, so we're able to make a lot of changes. Time for engagement galore. Engage. Indeed. All right. Well, let's kick it off, and we'll get this party started. All right, we're back for a little more modding. So let's remind ourselves we're gonna continue the game because I want to see how the late game starts to play out. So we'll get back in. I'm sure we'll almost immediately be going back out. but yeah, one of the first things we need to do. Yes, we have things going on here. Yeah, Turok, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited about it. So one of the first things we need to do is we have some unfinished business with this particular spreadsheet, which I'm going to bring up for a second here. Oh, sorry, that other half was not for this moment. But so I've been trying to track our changes here, and once we got into the modding last week, for context, I'll make this small and then I'll make it bigger again. For context, this is the spreadsheet where I'm tracking all of the changes. Yes, Turok, I will be, it's already available in my Discord. So if you want a copy to be able to play with it, the modding is literally copy a file into your last spell directory and you're good to go. So if you're interested in play testing in the meantime, I am excited to have people do that. So we have a thread in the Discord. Let me link the Discord. We have a thread in the Discord where we are already talking about things. We have a balancing thread inside of the Last Spell chat channel, Discord things. So we're talking about kind of the idea of doing it. Illustrious. So the short answer to that question is originally, back in the day, the first version of the hand crossbow. Let me oops. Uh-oh. That's not the thing that I wanted to make a different size. This is the first version of the hand crossbow. It's something like that. That's probably decently readable, right? So the first version of the hand crossbow, Blaze, was multi-hit and propagate. And they work exactly the way you would want and expect them to work. And it is a level of scaling that does not belong in the game. I don't know if other people disagree. I know people are probably like really sad to have seen it gone, but the original version of Blaze was multi-hit. I think it was multi-hit 2, propagate 4, something like that. But by the end of a game, you had a hero that with like 2 AP could clear an entire side. It's absolutely devastating. Issue question: can you still get achievements with these edits? Yes, it does not affect achievements. 6 AP, 10 mana cost. I think it would still be OP. As crazy to say as that is, the issue is that propagate and multi-hit are the 2 best scalers in the game, and they just, I think it would be very delicate, but because you have these 2 things and they scale multiplicatively with one another. I mean, it is true, Kovacs. The Ballista nerf, I'm still excited about the Ballista nerf. I also want to look at traps today. So we have there's a lot of things going on. But the first thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to go through this spreadsheet, and we'll talk about things as we go. But I want to flag skills that I would like to see change, while at the same time going through the game files and confirming that all of the changes that we have made are in here. So we're going to spend a bit of time wading through the code. Oh, but I wanted to mention this. I found the can rotate option. So I've added can rotate to super spin, which we currently have as this like L-shaped attack, and we'll see if that works. But let's go through and make sure that all the changes that we've made are indeed currently present in the spreadsheet before we go any further. I think that would be useful. If anyone is curious, whoops. There we go. I will paste this into chat so that people can check it out on the fly as we're going through stuff. I will do the same over in Twitch chat. Let's see, hide and dismiss that, hide that. There we go. Okay, so let's go through this. So at the moment, the only changes we made to Stomp is we have changed the range and made it skill modifiable. So I don't like this change, because I like the notion of it being a close range skill. So I think I'm actually going to revert this change for now. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to leave this like this, and then I'm going to use... Oh no, do I not have the ability to color cells here? All right, if I do this, I do. I'm going to color blue for things that I want to come back to and come up with a plan with. My worry about achievements. I wonder, is it a bannable offense? If so, we could find a way to turn it off. I don't believe it is a bannable offense. I don't believe that there's anything like that. Like there's plenty of mods on Nexus Mod and those types of things. So I don't think it's a concern. Yeah, it's a single player game. I don't think they're too worried about it. I wouldn't sweat it too much, Turok. But I understand where you're coming from. But I think this is well within, if anything, if Ishtar were to swing by, I think they would be very excited. I think this is a way to breathe new life into the game and get people excited about it. All right, so the next change that we have here was Axe Boomerang. I do like the change to Axe Boomerang. It's a little wonky at the moment. Right now, we have increased the arc damage. That is true. Yeah, we went from a 1.4 to a 1.8. We have increased the range by 1. That was just to offset the fact that now it goes 1 back. We moved the origin, but that's pretty much it. And we also increased the AP. So I need to, we need to add, whoops, 3 AP cost. Okay, that one looks good. Let's head down to Swing, which should be our next one, I presume. Nope. Our next one is the sword, the two-hand sword thrust. Yeah, so I think that is because StarCraft 2 is a competitive game, Turok. But Axe Boomerang feels weird. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. The creators of the last spell have also said that they want to add modding to the game. So it would be surprising to me if people jumping the gun with that is a little like there's no reason they would be upset about it. They want to add modding to the game. They know that it will increase the game's longevity. So I think it's probably okay. So let's see. So we have thrust here, which has a propagation count of 1. That is correct. Although this says that it's on thrust. Do I have slash and thrust confused here? 2 AP, 3 uses per turn. The two-handed sword attacks are weird names. Like the second one is called dash attack. The first one is called thrust. For the purposes of confusion, do we have someone with a two-handed sword right now? Let's see. Yeah, it is slash thrust. Yeah, that's very confusing, but that's okay. But yes, this one, slash is the one that we added through propagate to, so that's fine. Then we have the two-handed axe. Now, this one I want to revisit a bit. So let's talk about it. If you would like, Turok, before you play, I am happy to go into the Ishtar Discord and ask if they have any issues with people modifying their game. In fact, to that end, a member of our community, but also of the Ishtar community, has been doing challenge runs, and I know that modified game files have been shared on the Ishtar Discord. That's where she got the files to do what was called the no XP run. So that doesn't mean that mods on the Ishtar side saw those files being shared, but I really suspect that it's not a big deal. So let's see. We went with inaccurate 2x and then a half circle in front. This is correct again. I mean, I think long term in Lustrous, what I want more than anything is I want a mod loader feature, right? I want a place where I can go place my own XML files, and if it detects conflicts between my XML and their XML, it replaces it with my XML. But you know, that's going to be, you know, a future state type of thing. Now, one thing that was noted here is that this is unfriendly to walls. Do we have someone with a two-handed axe handy? I think we had one in our inventory, but I don't think we do. Terraria's modding API is fantastic. Yes, if they did what Terraria did, I think that would be excellent. I have not written any mods for Terraria, but I know roughly of how they approached it. And I think this game is rife with that, right? Like, I think it would be very easy to write. I mean, I've thought about this as well. I haven't done any changes to the code of the game, but I think it would be relatively easy to change the way that their class loader works. You know, just go find where they're loading their XML file from their shared assets and add kind of like a preemptive step. So for now, I'm going to leave swing as it is, but the issue with swing that we can't really see right now very easily. Let me just swap in a two-handed axe for the moment, is that this particular structure, maybe a 3x3 for the two-handed axe, like double the regular axe. That's interesting, Kovac. For two-handed weapons, instead of adding more damage squares, maybe an extra effect to neighboring squares. Yeah, I do like the extra effects, Turok. I think that could be a good bit of design. So the issue with this is that it makes it very unpleasant to play with walls. So for now, I'm going to leave this, but we need to think a bit on that. Now, the next change that we made all the way down here is super spin. So super spin is now our first multi-hit melee, not our first multi-hit melee attack, but our first point blank AoE multi-hit melee attack. That's a mouthful. Let's see. So it is multi-hit by 4. And then it's range 1, rotate. I need to see if the rotation actually works. To make the rotation work, actually, hold on. I think we can figure this out. We're gonna have to test it. I think right now the rotation won't work because the origin is not on the diagonal. But if we put the origin on the diagonal, I think it would look like this, and then it would flip to the right. So we'll have to figure that one out. But I added the can rotate just so we can see if it works. So let's see. So that's it for that one. Speaking of extra effects, how much customization do we have? Can we make our own or just use existing? Pretty much we can use existing right now. We're not modifying the code quite yet. We may get there. I'll need to do some testing offline. So let's see. So we changed Impale. It's no longer a front triangle, but it is damage concentrated damage. I'm just gonna say damage at tip. Yeah, so this, I really like the way Impale is right now, as a side note. And I think that this archetype, I may want to bring over to the crossbow as well. Then we have triple swipe, which I do think is 3 rays. It's a little weird, the way that it works right now. Now, I wanted to think about this. So the old triple strike was 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one is 1, 2, 3. This is also 9. It's just spread out differently, which I think is fine. So it's 3 rays, 9 tiles. There we go. And then the propagation is the same. Okay, and that's it for the melee attacks. So places where I want to change things. By the way, they do provide a little bit of documentation up here. Just so you are aware, in Lustrous, it's not super helpful, but it does provide some additional things. Like you can only use something when targets are in range. There's certain conditionals and those sorts of things. So sword's blade rush. I think the sword is I'm relatively happy with the sword. The dagger also feels pretty good. Intimidating Scream is an interesting one. I think it's okay. I don't love Mega Stomp, but I know a lot of people swear by it. I'm gonna highlight it for the moment. Triple strike needs a revamp. The haunt will I'll put it on the list. I'm not saying that it's perfect. I do think it's funny though. Let's see. And then I think Sword Blast could use some love. I think it's kind of weird in its current form. But that's all the changes that we've currently made. Now, so the nomenclature, so we're all clear, is if there's text in the right column, that's changes that we have actively made. And then if something is blue, I think it needs some attention. So over here on the short bow. So the short bow has been a topic of much discussion. I still don't know what I want to do with the short bow, but I'm excited to change the short bow. Right now, my thought, and I want some feedback on this. My thought on the short bow is, what if we did like a ranger fantasy type of thing where the short bow is like an arrow for every purpose. You could have like a snare arrow and a debuff arrow and a, fill in the blank, maybe a poison tipped arrow or something like that. And we make it more the kind of like jack of all trades sort of thing. Just throwing it out there, just a thought. Then maybe like a mobility attack, right? It could, I think putting a follow attack on the short bow could be really cool. The other thing, Jason, you described hand crossbow as the short bow. No, I didn't. So Yoba, I think I intentionally think that the hand crossbow has a little too much of that, right? Like right now the hand crossbow has poison and snare here, and then it has propagate, right? Love it if there was a bleed, that would be better. Poison is kind of iffy conceptually. It's very much a starter weapon. Can you change damage based on distance, where short bow does more damage the closer you are? So like a modified proximity shot. Let's see. That the answer is maybe. The way I would figure that out is we would go into here, and I'm sorry that this is hard to see. I'm going to move this over here for a second. So this is the This is the perks skill definition, and unfortunately it doesn't have it. So that means if we're going to figure this out, we're going to need to bring up our old friend, the Asset Studio. And I'm going to need to get the location of the last spell files. Add momentum to the power shot of the short bow. So one thing I want to be mindful of, because I like that idea. One thing I want to be mindful of, though, is I don't want the short bow to just become the pistol, right? That's the one thing that I'm a little nervous about. Now let's see. So if I want to, let's see. So we want text assets. There we go. So here, let me bring this up so that everyone can see what I am doing. Do that. If I hide this, does that show up? Okay. Apologies that this particular window does not scale. But what I'm doing right now is I'm going hunting for any XML based. Okay, so we have perk definitions file here. Okay. Spiky skin. Okay, yeah. This looks. So the other thing that I was thinking for Power Shot is we don't have a V-shaped attack. But yeah, that could work. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, so all of these are in here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go, we have not pulled out the perk definition, unit perk template definition, skill definitions, perks. Okay, got it. Okay, so perk definitions is where the XML is that defines things. And I know this is really small and probably more difficult to see than some of the other things we've been looking at, so I apologize for that. But the one that I wanted to look for here, and let me go over to this thingamajig. Now that we've found what we were looking for, if I hide Asset Studio and show the Unity Asset Bundle Extractor. That's what this is here. So now we're going to go find perk definitions. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, P. Nailed it. Perk definitions right here. We're going to view the data on perk definitions, and then we are going to export the data to a file. And then I'm exporting it to here. Let's see. I'm not getting the... How do I copy your name easily? There we go. Grab that. Export this. This is going to be in the base. There we go. I know. There's only so much I can do. These programs don't even allow me to scale their UIs, but we'll try and do better. So let's see. Now I have the perk definitions file here. So this is a little. I know it's still not perfect, but this is a little more readable. We can here. Let's. Oh God, when I scale up the UI over here, is this? What are you thinking, Lustrous? Is this still? I know you're on mobile, but at some point this gets too big for me to be able to utilize it. But the one that we wanted to find was proximity shot. Because somewhere in here is the logic. Here we go. Percent decrement. Woo. Look at this. Value equals malice tile times distance from caster minus min distance to caster decrement. Decrement, in fact. So this is telling us a thing. And that thing is that maybe we have some way to utilize this on abilities. Maybe. Like maybe we can have a value that is dependent on some type of thing. Now, how would this translate? Because we don't have these token variables. Oh yeah, we can definitely change perks for sure in Lustrous. That was always on the table. I just haven't been looking at them because I've been focusing on weapons. But 1,000%. This is a little it's a little too big for me. I have too much stuff falling off the screen. I think Specialist already is total damage, right? Yeah, the stat argument for it is overall damage, isn't it? Hold on, let me find someone who has Specialist in the game. Oh yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it is plus. Yeah, it's just you're right. It's just plus 50% damage. Whereas if we look at Don't Panic. Oh wait, what is this? It's always fun when we find a random comment in here. Here we're using total momentum tiles crossed this turn as it contains all moves except for teleports. We don't want teleport effect to affect head on, whereas we want teleport. Okay, so this is the change that they made to how momentum and no momentum work. Remove boom and give it to every one. I love this idea. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. Don't Panic. Here it is. So Don't Panic uses the overall damage bonus. Comments exist. Comments exist. So yeah, so Don't Panic uses the overall damage bonus, whereas the other one, which we were just looking at, Specialist. Wait, it says overall damage bonus too. That's weird, actually. Because I'm not crazy, right? Don't Panic. If we find someone who has that. Yeah, it's total damage. Whereas Specialist is regular damage. So what is the difference between these two? Because this says overall damage bonus. I think the UI is all generated by that in Lustrous. So let's go back to Specialist. Oh, hold on a second. Ha! Hilarious. There we go. Nope. So check that out. The difference is that this key is a value, and this key is overall damage bonus. Hey, Marcus, welcome. Okay, so we can if we want. Let me find my window here. I'm curious about making this change too. So we will do this. So I'm going to take this, copy the perk definition, paste the perk definition here, and then I'm going to bring this back. Apologies for the window shifting. I'm going to close the perk definition, and then I'm going to do perk definition, compare selected. There we go. Close this, and then this is the base over here, and then this is the other one. So if I then go into this one, and we find Specialist again, and we do this, then we go over here, and we find our diff. Did I do it right? There we go. Wait. Nope, I did it wrong. All right. The left and right members of things, there we go. That's correct. Okay, so now we have changed this to be overall bonus. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pin this. I'm going to save it. And then let's see if we actually made the change. Let's confirm that we can modify perks. So we close that. This is our perk definition. So you're going to import file from the, not from the base, but from here. There we go. Perk definition. this is skills buildings. We'll import this one. This is ranged. This is melee. And this is a magic. All right, and then we will apply and save all. So we're saving our changes right now. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to find shared asset 0, delete it. Come over here, go up a directory, go to assets, copy this here. There we go. Change that. Okay, let's reset and see how we did. Power shot. What about a slow effect -2 move with 1 to 3 behind the target? I do like that idea, Turok. I do like that idea a lot. One thing that I was thinking about for power shot was doing like, yeah, some type of like shockwave behind type of effect. We can sketch it out here in a second. Let me see. We want to restart the last spell and see if our change worked. Because I agree. I think this is a great change in Lustrous, and it only causes us a slight problem. And that slight problem is that now I have to track all the changes we've made to perks in my spreadsheet. That is serious hardship. Show me specialist. Oh. Disables the second weapon set in exchange for plus 0% damage and plus 1 use on every skill. Okay, so there's more that we need to do here to make specialist work. Okay, so we probably need to change this from being value to being like that. And then I also think just to test it out, we do that. All right. So what I changed here is I said, so we don't necessarily need 2 additional uses for every skill. That might be extreme. Maybe I'll leave that at 1 for now. But the issue is that they have these localization arguments, and we didn't make that change. So we'll leave that like that. We can talk about making the other change. I wish it was faster to exit out of the game also. That would be on my wish list. Let's see. So we change the perk definition again. Let's import perk definition. Save and apply, save, replace, quit. Copy here. There we go. Try it again. No, Marcus, we're just taking a brief break. There was one recommendation in the perk space that I thought would be fun to change, but we're going to be going back very, very quickly to modding weapons. We're doing a bit of an inventory and taking stock. Okay, so let's see. There we go. And now it still says plus damage. So there's probably a localization file somewhere, but I think now it is doing total damage. But I'm a little surprised that still says damage and not total damage. So let's look at buffer modules. Oh, so we probably have to change it here too. Right hand, left hand. Yeah, we might need to get that one as well. But this is a module. I want to let's take another look at Don't Panic. And see if there's anything else that we're missing. Overall damage bonus, plus prefix style. That's localization stuff. Skill modifier. All right, so we'll do that. And then, yeah, I'll leave this change in for now, but we'll see. So we had one more place that we had missed. making the changes. So it's possible that this will do it. This is obviously my first time modifying perks, and it does seem like perks have some minor additional complexity. There we go. We'll do that. Copy this here. Rename it. But yeah, the other thing, a dev console would be astoundingly good. Yeah, I mean, we'll leave the change regardless, and then I can always come back to it. Sometimes doing some of this debug stuff on the tail end of stream is easier. But yeah, so I'm still soliciting ideas for the short bow. We'll do some mapping out of that on that. But yeah, hopefully this time we get the difference in. No, it still says damage, and I think this is because there's a localization file. Yeah, we can do that later. So I'm going to create another tab over here. I'll bring back up the browser for a second, just so that we remember. So specialist damage to total damage. There we go. I'll make this pretty later. All right. So we can also test that, although I don't really want to remove the ability to have a second weapon on anyone right now. But let's get rid of that. Actually, we're going to be working in there. So okay, so the pistol, we changed the way that the pistol works. So let's see, we can get rid of that. Ranged weapons are here. Okay, so yeah, so Grape Shot Blast is now armor piercing. That is correct. Now the longbow, I have everything listed here as changed. So let's see if that is in fact what I did. So first of all, I did indeed make the longbow 5 uses on the primary. I think that feels pretty good. I gave Watch Out plus move, but instead of it being, it's plus 2 move at the lowest level, and then plus 5 move at the top. So it's plus 2 to 5 move, vary by level. Right, so you're getting a lot more movement from a level 5 item. So the short bow just lacks identity, Kovacs. That's the thing that I struggle with. Like, it feels like kind of a boring starter weapon that doesn't have a lot of oomph. And I want it to feel unique. Like I know some of the changes that I made to the rifle that we'll talk about in just a second are a little controversial. Is this snipe shot down here? Oh, it's rifle shot. That's okay. Snipe shot, yeah. So I reduced the mana cost from 2 to 1 on this. I'm gonna just so that I remember, I'm gonna do that. It is, but it's only 1 use in Lustrous. So the scepter is 3 movement, and you can use it twice. Like if we go find Wind Walk. Right, Wind Walk is, let's see, is 3 bonus movement, usable twice. So a base level scepter is still giving you more movement, but it's costing you 2 AP rather than 1. But I think Watch Out being a single use ability, it isn't too OP. And I think that like thematically, my thinking on that is just like, you either shout to someone so that they have more dodge. You're like, hey, watch out. There's an arrow coming. Yes. So we're still going to tinker with that, Turok, once we get through with doing that. Let me put a note here. Power shot. Can we prox shot? Right. So that's the question that we're asking right now, Turok. Yeah, and the range is much higher, which I think, but like, I think the longbow needs some interesting utility, and I don't think that's like OP. Then down here, explosive arrow, aka Arctic Blast, is just maybe a little strong at the moment. The 2.0 damage modifier might be very, very excessive. I don't know what else has like a 2.0 damage modifier, except for like maybe like Death Ray. Where's Death Ray? I want to see if it even has a 2.0. Where is Death Ray? There it is. Death Ray has a 1.5 damage modifier. So to that end, I think it's insane for this to have a 2.0. So we'll say 1.5. There we go. Let's see. Plus damage, diamond state, diamond shot, no stun. Maybe a rename down the line, but that's, you know, I haven't figured out how to rename things. Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna do some play testing, and it may feel too strong, but I think right now it feels too strong. I kind of tweaked this around early game. I wanted when you use it for it to kill everybody that it hits, essentially, kind of like Rain of Arrows is now. But we should actually compare. Rain of Arrows was a 1.65. Or is a 1.65. So yeah, so 1.5 feels a lot better than 2.0. So okay, so then we have crossbow. I do want to find something to do with crossbow. I don't think, you know, when we talk about doing something with something, we're not talking about it, but like, I think maybe, actually, hold on. Okay, so I think this was, that was successful. So I think Impaling Bolt, I want to take advantage of secondary tiles. Heavy Bolt moves you back to and use it. I love that idea, Turok. I don't think the game currently supports that. Secondary effect to the holes in Rain of Arrows, some debuff type. That's an interesting idea, Marcus. I'm worried. One thing I'm worried about is that Rain of Arrows and Arctic Blast are now very, very similar. Ignore armor on the base attack. That makes it and hand crossbow kind of like the same animal, which I'm a little concerned about. I love the idea of moving, but we'd have to figure out how we do that. Right now, I don't know that we can. Oh, actually, maybe we can. Actually, I bet we can, because I bet it's a lot like how we do other movement abilities. Hold on. So let's go look at, man, so many good ideas. Let's go look at the one-handed sword, which is right here. And let's look at slash. So slash uses this M tile. Yeah. Ooh, this is such a good idea. Yeah, Turek, I'm really excited about this idea. This is move back 1. Move back 2. So I want to be mindful of the fact that if we do move back 2, yeah, we could do more with move type things. And do we want this here? So okay, so I love this idea of having we don't have any movement abilities, but I'm wondering, so this is, okay, to note here, this is like spear. So as a reminder, the spear now does more damage at the tip than it does on the other ones, and I kind of want Impaling Bolt to have that same dynamic. But this idea of having an attack that moves back, I think this is what we do with the short bow. I think we make the short bow kind of like the sword of ranged weapons, right? So like the pistol is all about grappling shot and like follow attacks and things like that. But what if the short bow had like a disengaging shot type of thing? What would that could be really interesting. So one thing I've been thinking about, and you know, so we could maybe do like a snare here, right? And then maybe Rain of Arrows goes away for like a disengage. Hey, Zakar, right? So some type of ability that you can do that allows you to like move backwards, which is something that doesn't exist right now in the game, I don't think. So I think it's really interesting. We'll throw around something like that as an idea. But anyway, so I want to do something with an Impaling Bolt. I really like the idea of pushback. Oh, this is a whole new world. Let's see, where are my ranged weapons? Let's finish up the audit here. So rifle shot, right now, it's 1 AP and 3 movement cost. Disengage, leap over. High cost, long range attack. I think high cost and long range are more the domain of the longbow conceptually. One of the things that I want to do here before we get too far into the stream is I want to go through and I want to write like a 1 sentence. What is each of these weapons? What's their identity and how is each of the abilities kind of fitting into it as we're kind of like starting to get to more of like a design space. So let's see. So then hip shot regens a movement. Good. And then assassinate, I just made longer range. So assassinate went from a 12 range to being the longest range in the game. Yeah, it might not end up being called disengage in the end, but what I'm thinking is something like it would be really interesting if launch yourself with a bow rather than launching it. Yeah, I mean, something like that. Like a movement skill could be, I think we want some type of movement here with the short bow. Give it a little bit of mobility, make that part of its identity. The rifle I really like, Zakar, and I know it's a little hard to kind of like talk about, but like the thing that's cool about the rifle from my perspective is that its new cost becomes movement. Like the limiting factor on it is movement. So I really like that. But anyways, we'll come back to it. I think it is controversial. Some people really like it as is. Okay, so then going back here to the magic weapons. At the moment, we haven't done anything with wand, which I think is probably okay. I really like the contagion and X pattern for putrid ball. I think this is a very cool one. And then the death ray has become a weird spiral with secondary tiles. It's hard to explain what that one looks like, but it looks like this. Then acid spray, we added block to. Okay, so first we go to fire thrower, which I'm now referring to as like fire vortex. And all we've really done here is slightly changed it to be round rather than being a expanding thing. So rather than being grape shot blast shaped, it's changed. Just replace rain of arrows with a skill to buff your damage and accuracy for the next shot, kind of like the power up from hunters. Ooh, I really like that idea. I don't know where it lives, but self buff for now. But here's the problem. I don't think that the game supports buffs for one shot. Right? We could go look at the hunter code to try and figure it out, but I can't think of a perk that only affects one action. Right. Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I'd need an example, and maybe we can. I'm gonna have to bring up Asset Studio again. I apologize in advance. Make it stronger every time it hits. The power up buff lasts for 1 hit. Are you talking about on the two-handed axe? It lasts for 1 turn, if that's the one you're referring to. The thing about hunters is it lasts for 1 turn, but it only they only do one thing each turn, unlike us. Let's see. We want text assets only. Sorry, I'm gonna hide this for a moment and bring back Asset Studio. apologies in advance for that. But let's see. So if we find bounty hunter data files. Oh, I selected textures, not text assets. That's bad. Let's see. Enemy skill sound definitions, enemy unit templates, enemy sound definitions, enemy affixes. We can also change the affixes for elites. Hey, Garen, we're currently we're going through all the changes we made last week and updating the spreadsheet. So that's still happening. But we're also kind of trying to do a bit of brainstorming around the short bow and its identity. One of the things that's a really cool concept that may make it into the short bow or might make it into the crossbow is the idea of like a sword style attack, but that moves you backwards rather than forwards. I like the idea of that. Let's see. Enemy skill. And I apologize that this one is small. All we get is sound definitions there. Unit template definitions. Unit template definitions. What do these contain in them? Okay, it might not have the word enemy in it, but there's nothing that says hunter. So then skill. Do we have a skill? Oh, skill definitions for enemies. Here we go. Okay. All right, so we'll need to dump the skill definitions enemies. Exactly, Garen. So it's like I was referring to it as like a disengaging shot is the thought. Okay, so we're going to need to dump the skill definitions enemies, to no one's surprise. I should have probably just been able to intuit that one, if I'm being honest, but since all the other ones are here as well. But skill definition enemies. View data. Let's export this to our base. Oops. Grab that. Sorry, I'm doing this not on... I didn't share this window because this is a short one, but... Oh, I already pulled this one out. Okay, we already have it. Good deal. I pulled out a bunch of the ones that I was like, ooh, that sounds fun. But so here is skill definitions enemies. So let's do power up. What do we think it's called? Hunter charged attack. Bounty hunter charged attack. That's literally what we were looking for right now, Garen. We were asking the question if there was some ability for, say, maybe the short bow to have some type of charged attack. So the question is, so this right here, the bounty hunter charged attack removes the charge status from from the character. So now what we need to do is we need to see where charge shows up in this document. So if we come up here. Okay, so the corrupted mage has it as well. So yeah, it says removed because that's the attack in Lustrous. So we need to find, here we go. Okay, so bounty hunter charge. It goes ahead and it says, Stu, I've seen some people playing it. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out myself. Does it look pretty fun? Do you think it's worth taking a look at? Oh, so this is cool. So I remember when charged enemies couldn't move. I liked that. I'm sad it's gone. But okay, so we add a charged debuff here. And then the question is, if we go up to the charged attack, it has a remove status, but where in the code does it have a can only be cast if? So we have caster animations. Good Aesthetics 2 has about the Shogun Showdown amount of replayability so far. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so what I'm not seeing here in the Bounty Hunter charged attack, and I'm gonna search for this in the code to see all the places where it shows up, is I'm not seeing a way. It ignores line of sight, caster effect, remove status. So it's possible, Garen. So if we want, we can try doing a charge up type of thing, but it may be hard coded. Okay, so we'll come back to that as well. We'll add that to the list. Let's see. So can we use charged? There we go. We'll add that to the question marks. Now let's go back to Kali. Move that like that, and then this is okay. This was fire thrower. So we're finishing up our audit over here. So the power staff we changed to fire vortex, circle-ish. So I'm going to say this is no longer circle-ish, but this is range 2 fixed. We don't care about renaming things right now. And then I'm going to say this is like an oblong circle. I guess it's like an ellipse. Like so. All right. Then next change that we made was weakening touch, which we set to 3 uses, 1 AP, and propagation 3. Good. And then lightning strike, which I know is everyone's favorite and or least favorite, is currently a propagation 3. Yeah, so this is a prop 3. This one's still heavily in work in progress. You may still be able to add a regular plus damage buff and remove it on using another skill, although that would likely interfere with other damage buff sources. Yeah. If charge attack doesn't work, maybe we can do a self or not buff action that costs AP. Potentially, yeah. So this is 3 strike spots and then like awkward triangle. There we go. All right. And then what other changes did we have here? So then we changed, yes, we changed acid spray to be minus block, which is a pretty minor change. And that is scaling from minus block kind of 15 to 30. Right? 15 all the way to, all the way down to 25. Okay. Okay. So, whew. All right. So now we've at least updated the spreadsheet. Except that I went through ranged a little bit and talked about things I wanted to change. Which is like impaling. I wouldn't mind heavy bolt having some identity to it. Some uniqueness. And then over here, I like where the wand is. I think Infect is fine. Infect sounds like it should be the thing that adds contagion. But that's a different story. Scorching Wave and Fire Thrower, I think, are sufficiently unique. Hammer of Faith always seems weird to me, but I think it's okay. I think Acid Spray is still boring. Yes, I shared it up above in the chat, but here, I'll grab it for you again. Come on. There we go. There we go. There's the link right there, Garen. All right, cool. Okay, so now we've taken stock. We've taken a look at everything that there is. So now the question is, let's bring the spreadsheet up here for a second. Let's do the experimentation with charge shot, because that seems interesting, right? Seems interesting. So remove status. So we're gonna try to do. Let's see. Sorry, can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just grabbing a code snippet of what adding charged looks like on a hero. There we go. So okay, so it is, and here I'll bring this over so that people can see what I'm looking at. So caster effects, buff, base chance 1, bonus of 40, can affect enemy units, can affect playable units. Status resistance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is the corrupted mage charge. It does too many things. Let's find the other one, which is this one here, which is just caster effect charged. Simplest thing ever. So let's just grab this. I say simplest thing ever, but you know. So we're gonna go to the short bow. Whoops. Yes, I did, Garen. Thank you. I missed that one completely. Let me get it. Let's see. +1 move, and then range, no mod. And then, oh, and the other thing that I did that we have to try out is I added rotation to the two-handed axe. So we'll get to that in a second. But where am I right now? I'm in magical weapons. I want to be in ranged weapons, and then we're going to go find... We're going to go find the short bow. There's the short bow. And for now, let's just grab this. And this is under generic. Oh, I should turn off that because we're not too worried about that. Come over here. And then that's under... It's under generic, but generic... Skill effects. Oh, we went back to the wrong one. So we have a skill definition. Then we have a skill action. Then we have generic skill effects. So we're going to have an attack. I'm just going to leave the attack. I'm going to put a... Actually, I think we can do it this way. We'll find out. This may be a breaking change. Okay. So we have generic skill effect, and then we're going to add charged turn counts 2. Okay. And I'm not gonna bother trying to get rid of it. I just want to see if this actually even works. So let's do that. Then we'll go into Asset Studio, find ranged weapons, import data. We don't want that. We want this. Save all. Save, replace. Okay. Copy here. Okay, let's reset and let's see. We're gonna need to get a longbow, and then we're gonna need to play a knight, which will be good. It'll be nice to break things up by playing a knight. But we'll be able to see if it actually shows up on the thing. Obviously, long term, we don't want this on the short bow's primary attack. That's not the vision, but this is really just us testing to see. Oh, and then... Oh, that was weird. Okay, so do we have a short bow in our inventories? We do not. Can we pick one up from our night reward? We cannot. Can we pick one up from the shop? Short bow. Look at that. Look at that. For now, I think the rifle is relatively well defined, so I'm going to do that, and then let's just get people on their various sides. We also haven't gotten gear or anything, so we need to kind of. I'm playing this game a little sloppy. Let's not pretend I'm not, but yeah, so once we get the buff on someone, I can go ahead and we can enter and exit to test out whether or not it's working as anticipated. What are we looking for here? As a side note, defensive training at some point is going to have to change. Just because our defenses are no longer doing damage. So it's not, it doesn't exactly work. But we'll do that. Exactly, Marcus. That's what we're going to do next. But I want to make sure that we can actually apply charge and the buff actually shows up. And if that works, then we will start taking a look at things. We could quantity versus quality, which might absolutely decimate everything. I don't think we want to do that. Let's grab that. Now these. We're spending a lot of mana just because we're testing it aggressively. Now I just picked up a bunch of gear. I'm going to be pretty quick about grabbing gear. Right? We're not trying to. We don't care if we lose. Plus XP if killed on a Haven tile. Love the concept. Unsure if that is something that would be kind of like easily moddable. I would need to find a template, as is often the case. I need something else that kind of like behaves that way. I think it would. I think it might just catapult corpse strats into the rarefied atmosphere, which could definitely be a problem. Now we changed catapults, and I think I want like another catapult. All right. At some point, we're going to do traps, too. That adds damage for enemies. Oh, yeah. We can take a look at that really quickly. Let's go over to perks. And then... let's see. So, how does Don't Panic work? Because that's one of those tiles. So, let's see. Computation state. Accuracy. So this is the entirety of Don't Panic right here. I'm not seeing any. So, okay, so highlight if is true has target tile and is true target tile is city tile. See, so we can do conditional targeting, but I don't know that we can then translate that into, say, XP, because let's find defensive training. So it has XP multiplier, kill multiplier, and wave multiplier. And it is event on defense killed target. Yeah, so this is where we run into problems, right? is somewhere in the code is on defense killed target. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, Turok. We can definitely... We're testing that out right now. But... Let's see, wait. So, wave multiplier 1 plus... Anyways. Okay. Let's do a little bit of fighting. And then we'll come back. Oh yeah, I picked up a bunch of gear, didn't I? That I should probably, like, dole out to people. We're using a lot of two-handed weapons right now. Just get people a little stronger. I think the dagger's okay for the moment, but I may want to make some changes to the sword. Check how Avid Learner works. Sure. Yeah, so Avid Learner is just a raw experience gain multiplier bonus. So basically, it just increases the stats of everyone. Don't heroes get XP for each individual kill? Can't you make heroes get temp XP multiplier for killing heroes in Haven tiles? So the way that this works, the way that XP is doled out is you generate XP for an individual when they get a kill. And there's also a shared XP pool that gets doled out. I don't know where all of the code for that is, but I don't think we can change stats on the fly. But we'll see. Anyways, we got some gear. I think we'll probably be okay. Famous last words. Anything else we want to get in here? All right, let's try it out. First thing we want to do is we want to fire off a short bow shot in order to see if indeed we gain charged. So, short bow. Now, what do you have? I don't see charged. Right? Is it possible to double the kill count for enemies killed in the Haven? Not out of the question, but I don't know how. Okay, so I want to check Super Spin. Yeah, so the problem is we would have to be on these tiles to make it work. And rotating this on the diagonal doesn't change anything. So the plan to have this be rotatable is not going to work. That seems quite clear to me. Okay, so that's that. Then there's you who has the longbow still. Okay, we need... Oops, I don't want you to move like that. See, so I love... Oh, God, I really love the spear. That's a lot of damage. But I think that's a really cool... Because, like, if I come to here, right, we don't get the kill on this guy. This triple swipe continues to be the most awkward bell at the ball. For sure. Let's see. So if I move you one forward here... And then if I want, we have Watch Out. Oh, which requires vision. So I need to move to like here to get it. But that gives you back some movement. Okay. Super Spit can hit the same 3 tiles with 4 multi-hits. That seems quite strong. So here's the thing. It's not range modifiable, Garen. So I don't think it's as strong as it might sound on first blush. Right? The thing about most multi-hit attacks that are so devastating, at least from my perspective, is that they can then target like many creatures, right? Whereas if you're only hitting creatures in melee, you basically don't have that many options for what you can hit. But yeah, it is strong against bosses for sure. Let's see. Okay, so if I move you here, but yeah, against bosses, it's going to do some good damage. But I think that's okay. I don't think that's world ending. God, this is so impressively awkward. Lightning Bolt wins all of the awards for awkwardness. But yeah, I don't think having like grand scheme of things, it's also only strong against bosses that you can get directly next to, which is not a feature that exists for all bosses. Like, good luck using that on Nessie as an example. Okay, so we have the Mystery of Charged, though. It doesn't look like we got charged as an effect. We've been experimenting with Lightning Bolt. To my knowledge, it is currently in an okay state. Yeah, so this gives charge too. So we could try seeing if we secretly have charged, but it looks to me like it doesn't work the way that we wanted it to work. Wait, I'm also looking at the code here, and I don't think this is the way I wanted this to look. Oh, see if it's a bug like stun? Sure. Let's go back to main menu. We've used the ability. Illustrious, I still think it breaks the game, to be perfectly honest. Like, having seen, like, they kept, like, we talked about this a lot back in the day with Blaze. So yeah, so I'm not seeing, I would assume that the buff would show up here, and I'm not seeing it on Anita, despite the fact that we just exited and re-entered. Maybe you need to add charge under attack, not generic. We can try that. I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I don't want it to charge up the thing that we hit. But let's try putting charged here. It did show up in the tooltip, so I was feeling pretty good about it. But we can grab that, and then let's export it, send it. So the thing is, but you can eventually get to 5, right? Like, the thing is like every multi-hit you pick up is multiplying the number of propagates, and every propagate is multiplying the number, like, you know, it just scales in a way that it becomes unique in the game for being the only ability that has it. Now, if any ability was going to have it, I think there's something interesting to be said for Lightning Bolt being that thing. But it's a lot. So anyways, let's see. We just killed it. And we can play with it. Like, the old Blaze was just insane, though. Like, it was off the charts strong. All right, let's see. We've switched this over to being a skill effect inside of Precise Shot's main attack block. So, first of all, you have nothing. Did you see that? It charged up the enemy. Hold on. Let's advance this one. That was funny. I need to shoot something that can't die. Or that won't die, that is. But I'm pretty sure that it charged up the enemy. Okay, you can shoot this guy. Worst skill ever. Okay, so this reminds me of the block of code that we used for hip shot. Let's go find hip shot, because there's some potential here, right? Okay, so hip shot, we do caster effect regen stat. So I think what we want to do is we want to do caster effect under, this is a subheader of skill effect. So is it possible to have a variable cost so it scales? So we have seen equations in some of the fields. I am not convinced that we can do it anywhere though. We'll science that out too. So skill effect, caster effect. Charge for 2 turns. Okay, let's try that. Would a friendly fire attack kill or charge the hero? It should charge the target. That seems reasonably certain in my mind. We could test it if we wanted to, but we're clearly applying charge to the thing we're targeting. Because that would be a way of making Marcus's idea of the propagate and multi-hit work. Oh. That is interesting. The idea of giving buffs to other people that then can be consumed like charged is kind of an interesting concept. All right, but let's see. We just switched it, so now it should be a caster effect. So let's do this. Yeah, like for instance, we could have watch out add charged. We could talk about charged becoming more of a currency than it currently is. Like charged could be like the combo concept in Darkest Dungeon if we wanted it to be. Right? Like we could have skills that give charged and skills that consume charged, and then we can make the consume charged skills stronger. That could be really interesting. All right, so now when I do this, we gain charged. Yes. Okay. All right. Oh, and I love that it gives a little icon above our health bar. That's fun. So now we can talk about building a skill that consumes charge. Scary thought. See, I like the way Super Spin works a lot, as a side note. I think it's pretty genius. And I also think that this Pierce attack, where it's doing less damage to the first 2, but it does maximum damage at the tip of the spear, is just a really cool dynamic to be exploring. We set it to gain charge for 2 turns. It's not 2 charge, it's 1 charge for 2 turns. So now we have to test. Now we have to make Rain of Arrows only usable when you have charge. Or maybe we should make Power Shot so we can test it. That'll be easier from a testing perspective. So Power Shot now. Oh, what I mean is fire again. Okay, we'll fire once more. Let's see. We'll kill that runner. So now we have 2 charge for 2 turns. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. So let's now the thing is I bet we remove both stacks when we use Power Shot, but let's add it in. Okay, so we're gonna go over to skill definition. We're gonna come over here, and now we're gonna find a remove status effect charge. What does this look like? So caster effect, remove status charged, base chance 1. I don't know that we have a way to cap charge at 1. We can make it 1 turn. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to do skill effects for Power Shot is going to be remove status effect. Why does this look like... Oh, yeah. Oh, we need caster effect around it, too. All right. I was like, why is this indented the wrong amount? It is because I forgot that. So at the moment, I'm expecting that this remove status is going to remove both. That's my theory. Let's scoot that back over that way. But we've done the thing, and then this is just silly, but just thematically, Power Shot is now going to do 4x, but it's going to require you to have charged. Yeah, and now we'll test it out. So let's import the files. Hold on, let me get that. We will import. This is our range, yeah. Our ranged weapon changes. Save and apply. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really potentially very cool thing. And I'm thinking that depending on how hard this is to do, the other thing that we can do is we can start to have more options for what we add. Right, exactly, Marcus. That's the thing that we're testing is, does the remove status check for the presence of the status? My suspicion is yes, which is going to be perfect for what we want. It's 1 AP in Lustrous. we're just fooling around though right now. Okay, so right now this says lose charge effect. That's working perfectly. So right now we have 2 charges. If I move forward and do this is doing 1,600 damage on a crit. There we go. We lost all the charges. Okay, so now if I do another power shot. Okay, so right now it's not working the way that we want it to. So yeah, I'm liking this idea a lot. I think this could be the short bow's identity. It could be the first weapon that we design that has like a generate combo and then utilize combo type of thing. But the logic that prevented us that was supposed to prevent us from working did not work. So now we have to try and find what, if anything. So cardinal directions only, false, damage, ranged attack type, skill effect, ignore line of sight. We got some path stuff. Caster aim. Hero cast, assassinate, recoil. Well, so right now we haven't figured out how to make it require charge at all. So one step at a time, right? We don't know what the mechanism is that is preventing us from doing an action unless we have charge. So there may be. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to search in the files for any instance of charged attack just to see what it is. So it looks like all we have, and you guys can't see this because it's in the other half of my browser window or my code window, but it looks like there are only 25 instances of charged attack being present. Let's see. So what is the code for that on the Twisted? So the Twisted, so basically like we want to look for all the charged things, and we have there's 31 of them. So here's the Twisted, the Corrupted Mage Death Ray. And it's the same deal, right? It has a base damage, an attack type magical, a damage multiplier of 1, then it has skill effect, caster effect, remove status, no dodge, no block, etc. Has a duration, has a visual effect, has cam shake. So I don't see anything in here that is making the skills only usable. Now, it is possible that code, I'm worried that code exists inside of somewhere else, but Hey, Alvi Coot. Welcome. So, no, I am not a Twitch affiliate at the moment. I super appreciate your kind offer, and it may happen at some point in the future. Not to derail the conversation too much, but first of all, I really appreciate you. And if you want another free thing you can do to support me, tossing me a subscription over on my YouTube channel is a huge help. So I would super appreciate that. But the short version of it is that Twitch historically prevented people from multi-streaming, and I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And I've been doing that for a long time. And so I didn't want to sign up for their partner or affiliate program because of that. They recently changed those rules. There's still a weird rule where they don't want you to show YouTube and Twitch chat at the same time on screen like I do in this stream. So I'm trying to decide if I'm actually going to pull the trigger, but at some point in the future, you may be able to, and I appreciate you asking. Thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Yeah, it may be, Marcus, but I think it's worth us poking around just a little more. So let's bring up Asset Studio again, everyone's favorite tiny window. I want to see if potentially, let's see, we're going to grab this, and I'm also going to put mono behaviors in here. Mono behaviors are sometimes the code snippets. So if we search for hunter, nope. If we search for charge, let's see if we get anything on, no hits on that. Let's see. Okay, so for mono behaviors here, for enemies, we have the enemy unit. Ooh, why did that? All right, so the mono behaviors aren't giving us a lot in this case. So we'll see. Did I misspell bounty? I know it was very small. Oh, and also I made this window too dang high, too dang tall. So let's see. Enemy skill sounds, enemy... hit by enemy sound effects. All right, I don't think the mono behaviors are helping us much at this moment. Why is this not showing? Oh, it's because it's enemies plural for the skill definition. Okay. So skill definition, we've already looked at this, and this doesn't have anything specific to the charged logic. Enemy unit template definitions. So here we have things like their thinking scope. It could be in this file. The enemy unit template definition. Yeah. So let's see. So it's got corrupted mage stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, corrupted mage charge, experience, behaviors. Okay. So we have goals. We have target methods. I'll export this file if we decide that it looks like there's much. So okay, corrupted mage buff. Charge death ray. If a hero is in 2 to 8 tile range and this enemy has no charged flag, skip turn and gain charged flag. So let's see. Caster conditions. Okay, let's export this file. Enemy unit template definition. I want to see it in my editor because it's hurting my eyes. Give me one moment here. A, B, C, D, E. Enemy. Portrait. It's before the portraits. What was it called? Enemy unit. Oh, it's after the portraits. It's the very end. Enemy unit template definitions. Oh, there's one for every tier. Okay, we only really need tier. Which tier has the hunters in it, because I think hunters are the simplest case. They must be a tier 3 unit. Shield man. Shield man. Armored bloody. Ghost. Yeah, we may be able to, because like I'm trying to think, are there any skills that depend on things? I'll just grab 4, because we have the twisted in there. So view data, export data here, except I need this string. Export this. Okay. I'm gonna close that because I don't think we're gonna be changing that. Oh, I put it in the wrong place also. Shame. Shame. Move that there. All right, now we can take a look at it over here. Okay. This is much easier for me. I apologize if it is not easier for y'all. But at least now we can go. At least now we can search for things. So preconditions, condition group, not in fog condition. Condition group, caster has condition charged. So this is what we would want. And we need to put a pre... Now, I suspect precondition... I suspect that preconditions are going to be a little hard for us to just dump into this, because this is like a goal. This is a bridge too far, but we'll try it out nonetheless. Okay, so I'm going to grab this precondition. Clamped max value to 6 to avoid claws being too aggressive. Hilarious. Yeah, I don't think this precondition block is going to work in any of the places that I want to use it, but we'll give it a go. Actually, let's search in files for precon. Okay, yeah, so the only place it shows up is in the enemy units definitions tier. But we can try putting it in. But I think it's not going to work. My presumption is that it would go here, somewhere like here. It would go on the skill action. But this seems extremely pie in the sky. And we'll get rid of this one entirely. Right, so now what we've added is we've just added under the skill action a precondition condition group. Caster is met status type charged. Yep, already dropped it in Lustrous. Okay, so generally speaking, when I try these more outlandish things, as we were about to do here, what happens is the game won't even start. So y'all will have no strong indication of what's happening. It will just poop out. But I will tell you. I will narrate the failure in real time. Because that's the kind of guy that I am. Okay. The idea of charged on units is just such an interesting one that I love that we're tinkering with it. All right, so chances are this will fail. Oh, I mean, it would be absolutely unheard of. Okay, the fact that the game started at all is more than I usually get from invalid settings. So either I didn't properly save my change, or problem is I used up all my power shots. Okay, let's go out. Let me make sure that I definitely made the changes, because I don't think the game would have started at all if the XML didn't parse properly. So That's been my experience before. So we definitely saved this. Let me definitely import this again. Okay. Definitely resave the bundle file. Replace it. Delete the old bundle. Copy in the new bundle. Save changes, yes. All right. Because the other thing, and this is a ridiculous thing to be worried about, but okay, it launched again. So I think I did do everything correct previously. So what we need to do is we need to speed run this. I guess I could have just made PowerShot have more uses while we're testing. That would be faster than playing through the whole night. Just change that to 5 for the moment. Ranged weapons, import, save bundle, save, yes, quit, delete this. This will also confirm that we've definitely made a change and that the file is still parsing properly. So there's double value here because we've changed something that we know the effect of. Gosh, if preconditions work, things are going to get weird. Oh, 0 of 5, though. Well, that's hilarious. All right. So I guess we will we will take the knight. Let's see. Where's my lightning bolt? It is so awkward and impossible to get a good lightning bolt. I kind of love it. Is that bad? That's bad. That I love it so much. I should move to here and do it this way. We're definitely not going to S rank this one. That's for sure. Let's see. If I move to like here, can I just get like a... The longsword is interesting now, right? I wouldn't say it's like totally good, but I do think that the propagate on it makes a big difference. I think it's really... It has turned it into kind of an interesting weapon. Do you have 1 hit point left? Why are you showing panic? You're not creating panic, dude. Get out of here with your panic threats. All right. All right, let's just get to the next turn so that we can see if indeed things work the way that we think they're supposed to. Multi-hit stun chance. Have Lightning Bolt do a multi-hit stun. You know, there's not a multi-hit in the game, which is very interesting. Okay, so I can use Power Shot right now. And I can still use Power Shot, which means that the precondition is not being respected. It does not crash the game, which is interesting. But so we can try moving it around. I'm not holding out a lot of hope though. Like, we could try putting it as a modifier on the attack instead of on the whatever, but like requirement, precondition. Oh, try to use it? All right. So even though I see that the thing is like this, I will try to do that. And yes, it still works and we still get the lose charge indication. So even though we didn't have it, we could still use it. So that's not what we want. Okay, so is there... So in perks, if we look at Nimble, Nimble checks for the state of injury, and it uses a condition is true owner injury. So there might be the possibility that we could do owner charged on a condition in something like this. The -1 move for snipe configured. I mean, we can go look at it. The answer there is that was done. That was done with a. Well, that's done with a movement point cost directly, because that's just an easy thing to do. But the more interesting one is we can do this caster effect regen stat block. But I don't think this helps us either. So the reason I was looking at Nimble is because this is a conditions modifier, right? I mean, there's thrifty. There's thrifty, which still exists. Ooh, there were the blood mage replacements. So it's using a counter, it looks like. Is true, skill has mana cost, and is true, reduction is active, which is set based on action points left to spend, which I believe is, so they use buffers to do that. So the thing that we might be able to do in place of charged or in conjunction with charged is we might be able to create our own variable on the hero. But that's potentially also like a bridge. That's a complicated thing to do. But that's interesting too. So let's go up to short bow again. Yeah, so precondition charge. I'm amazed that it worked at all. But this didn't do anything. So we have caster status condition, and we have a condition group here. Yeah, I mean, we could potentially put a variable on them, but what about... So let's see. So if we go back to perks and we look at... So they're using modules for a lot of these things. I don't understand what modules are quite. Flexibility is using internal variables as well. Has a sequential ability use on the Dryad spawner. Let me take a look at that really quickly. Oh, the Dryads aren't in here. I'd have to go grab another file, which we might do. The logic that you can't use skills if you are out of AP and MP is not in the XML file, I assume. I don't believe so. I believe that's more fundamental, like when you specify resources. So you could bring back up the asset studio, and we can take a look at that really quickly. Let's do this. The asset studio in all of its tininess is back. Text assets, and then we're gonna have enemy unit definitions. And then where did we even see the dryads? Because they're not in tier 4. It doesn't look like. We got corrupted mages and bulkies in here. Skill definition bosses. That's the fortress for the boss. These are the spawns. They have spawn cocoons. Then we're into Nessie. Throne tower boss fight. So maybe we skipped over. Maybe this here was... This is all Nessie. This is still Nessie. Still Nessie. Then we have the Monarch boss. That's the wrong one as well. Yeah, so I don't think we can use them in that regard. So the damned bomb attack. That sounds terrifying. Oh, that's the Schadenfreude orbs. Got it. Spawner. Okay, so this is an attack directly on the spawner boss, which is the Dryad. But I'm not seeing anything that looks sequential in here. Okay, so let's pivot for a second here. So the thing that I'm looking at is, do we have an example of any type of conditional logic on any thing? I'm trying to think. There are some that can only target certain people. Like, we could look at Watch Out as an example. And it at least has some condition about who it can target, right? See, so it says valid targets playable units only, right? So that's a very specific way that it's calling out what its valid targets are. Most of the conditional stuff doesn't exist in weapons. Yep, transfer is another good example. If transfer blocked you from sharing if the person had something, but like, there is a move bug, by the way. Your archer moves through your axe guy. I mean, like this? This is always the way that it works. Yeah, you can't move into the same tile, but you can travel through another hero. This has always been this way. Hasn't it? I'm pretty sure that's the way it's always been. Yeah, and I don't think we're going to find anything. I think the closest we're going to find is things like perks like Nimble that have some type of... No worries, Garen. No worries. Things can look funny. When we're changing everything, things can look a little funny. For sure. Plague set. Oh yeah, that's referring to that column. Got it. So like... So yeah, so we have this condition is true. So conditions feel pretty broad. We could try putting a whole modules file in. Oh, initiator. Hey, Abigail. Yeah, so we're currently, check this out. We're currently trying to make, and failing so far, but we're trying to make it so that we can utilize charged. So the idea would be you gain charge from an ability on the short bow, and then you lose charge from a different ability. So kind of like what the Twisted have going on, but something where we could like alternate them. Obviously the numbers are foobar right now. We're just doing some testing. The issue is we don't seem to have the ability to block power shots use when it is when we don't have charge. So we're trying to figure out if there's any way to do any type of conditional stuff. And so we're looking at examples. So here we have view, display, and HUD, which is part of it. Hey, Tukey. So the display and HUD isn't something we're looking for, but these conditions are. Yeah, see, so okay, so these buffer 1s and buffer 2s appear to be like internal state variables that you can utilize, right? So what happens is on target killed, they use a set buffer command to deactivate the perk. So I think we might be able to do something with buffers. Now the buffers appear to be on a module, specifically a buffer module. Let's see if we can add a buffer module to... That's kind of what I'm thinking, Abigail. Yeah, so I'm thinking we might do something like that. It might not even end up on the short bow, but I like the idea of having charged as an element in our arsenal. So the first question is do we have modules anywhere in any of the files that we're looking at right now, other than perk definitions? The answer is no. So Tukey, that's all handled, I think, in code, right? Basically, like, I think they have some very basic, like, resource stuff. Like, if you have no move, don't allow the person to move. If you have no AP, don't let you do that. And unfortunately, I think it is a separate mechanism for what we want to do. Okay, so we're going to try just adding a module. That's going to be our next bit of science. So let's see. So I think that we'll nuke the precondition. Although I'm going to keep I'm going to keep this for the moment, because I do suspect that this caster has condition may be the right way to specify this still. But so we're going to do, I'm going to try adding a module buffer module onto this. Oh, what did I just do? All right. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, there we go. So we're going to have this module. And then the way that modules appear to work is somewhere we can have a set buffer variable like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to... so here's the problem. I don't know the scope of a module, but presumably, like in the case of the perk, it appears like within the perk definition, we have a module and then we create a buffer module. In the case of this, because the module needs to be accessible to multiple skills, I kind of feel like the buffer module needs to be on the item, if logically speaking. So let's go up here and let's see. So the problem is there's only one root XML node all the way up at the top, and that is skill definitions. There's no notion of an item. So If we're going to have any chance, we just have to hope that buffer modules kind of work magically, which would be a lot. So let's see, set buffer 0. So they're using 2 buffers here because I think one of the buffers is, I don't actually know why they're using 2 buffers here. This is one of those situations where I wish the, well, actually, hold on a second. Where is, so we could actually look at the XSD file before we go much further. I think we need to find the perk definitions XSD file. So the XSD files are the XML files that define what the structure of an XML file looks like. And if we can find the one that is specific to this, then we can, yeah, I wonder where would they live? Let's bring back up the asset studio. I think we need to be a little more scientific about this, or we're going to be fumbling around in the dark for literally ever. So the right way to do this is to try and find the XML definition file. I don't know that it will exist, at least accessible here. But rumor has it would be called perk definitions, which just has these 2 text assets, which I think are the same. They are indeed identical. So let's switch back to all and just see. We don't get any additional files. Never be afraid to Google things. I don't think the developer is super interested in troubleshooting my modding, to be honest and lustrous. I don't think that's on their list of to-dos. How to access XML data in Unity? That's not what we want. No namespace schema location. So I would have assumed, well, let's try the bundle extractor and just see if maybe it shows up in here. LMNOP. So let's see. Perk definitions we already found. Building tree, building temple, TLS. Okay, those are all building related, which is not what we're looking for. Asset bundle extractor not having any, so if we switch this to resources, uh-oh. Oh, did that just blow up all my stuff? Gosh darn it. Did blow up all my stuff. Frustrating. All right, so now I need to find those again. Oh. Yeah, so we may have to table this just because I think this may require more digging than we necessarily have in our time frame for doing some editing stuff here. So let's see. So skill definitions. We wanted melee. We need melee back. We need ranged back. We need magic back. Then we did buildings. I know, seriously, I'm thoroughly in focus mode right now. All right. So at least we got all these back. But yeah, I think we are going to need to. I don't think we can use a module just blind. I don't think that's gonna play well for us. I'm gonna leave this here as a temporary thing. Hello. Some days I can type. We'll leave this here for the moment just to remind us of some of the things we were thinking about. But yeah, I think we're. So I'm thinking about a couple things. So if we bring back up, let's get rid of Asset Studio again. Goodbye. Bring the browser up. So at the moment we have some low-hanging fruit that I think we should take a look at. The short bow, I want to work something in with charge. Let's try doing a backwards move ability on the short bow though. I want to see what that looks like. Let's make Power Shot a backwards move. Hey, Badger Hat. Things are good. Things are good. We've been messing with Power Shot a lot. Let's try. Yeah, we got halfway there with the charge. We've got the charge popping up. We just haven't figured out how to gate the skill on having the charge effect, which the way that they're doing it on the monsters doesn't work for us, but I suspect there might be something in the realm of how, like, Nimble works. Not Nomble. Nimble. That we might be able to make. Really can't type today at all. Yeah, I think there's something that we could do with, like... Yeah, everything's actually everything is using these modules, but I think modules are part of perks. Oh, did I mistype it over here in the comment? Yes, good call. That would have haunted me for a while, Mindbuster. I appreciate that. Oh, good catch. So yeah. So anyways, so if we. So here's a weird one. Let's go look. I want to go look at the one-handed sword for a second here, and specifically, Slash was the ability. So Slash has this weird thing that makes me think that we can't do a ranged attack with a pushback because of the fact that the maneuver is defined in the same space as the area of effect. Right? So we could make something that moves back, but I don't think we can do it at range. Is isolation and opportunism checks? That's a good question. I assume that it's just going to be let's go to hip shot, which we know has it. Yeah, see, so they just have inaccurate. Opportunistic is just a simple code block. Yeah, I think it possibly is in the damage calculations. No, pistol has follow in Lusters, which is different. So follow is you take the place of the thing that you killed, right? Right, so if we come down here to grapple shot, it has isolated and then it has the follow code block, right? Then make 1x and do the damage only at the E position. So that's the problem, right? So like let's see, what's the best way to, maybe I can do it over here. So if I just take these and just go, hold on, please hold, resize to 24, right? So like the issue is that if you do an AoE here, right? So like we'll do something like this, right? And you have it at range 5. The player is here, right? And then the origin is this point here, and then there's some other stuff. So I don't know. I don't think it would work to do something like this, right? Which is the nomenclature for, actually, it would be something like this, right? For a maneuver. So we can just try it. Let's try that out. Okay, let's just see what happens. We're just gonna go for something really weird. So we're gonna take a skill, and we're gonna give it a maneuver type. I assume that if we do this, what's gonna happen is we're gonna shoot this location, and then we are going to appear next to it, which could also be interesting, right? Have I played Tainted Grail Conquest? If not, you should look into it. Sort of like Slay the Spire with some extra elements in it. I have not played it. I think I remember when it first came out, Badger Hat. The best place to recommend things if you're not already part of the Discord is in the Discord. I'm mostly doing that for other people so that they know. We have a game suggestions channel there, and it is a great way to join the community and also be able to suggest games. So yeah, it would be like a blink arrow. So let's try it out. We will. For now, what we're gonna do, and this is weird, is we're just going to add something like this. We will make the origin be 0 on the X and 1 on the Y. And then what this should do is this should now be a blink arrow. So let's get rid of that. Let's get the range skills imported. Oh, we have to import them all because I think I messed it up when I made changes. Magic weapons. So we'll do this. Buildings. And perks. Sorry, doing a little bit of stuff behind the scenes here. We'll save that. We will delete this. Yeah, the thing that I will do off camera between now and next stream is I'll try and find the actual XSD files, because that will make all the difference in the world. Hey, thank you, Badger. Have a good one. Have a good one. Thanks for swinging by and saying hey. All right, we can turn off that. So I'm just quitting out of wait, why is that still showing? Ah, there we go. All right. So quitting out and re-entering. So now we have maneuver on our bow shot. Which is interesting, but I think it's very counterintuitive the way that it's going to work. Uh-oh. Ooh. One of the save files cannot be loaded for unknown reasons. It has been moved to that location. Fortunately, an automatic backup. Okay, so we corrupted a save. So we won't be finishing off that save. Oh, what is guys? Lots of bad things are happening right now. I think that changed to, oh, I put the M here, but I didn't add the maneuver tag. That might be the issue. Wait, hold on. We want to keep caster effects, but we don't want skill effect, and we want maneuver. Okay. I would understand negative maneuver on crossbows pushback. That's what was originally recommended. Unfortunately, I'm going to re-import all of these just in case I messed something up quite horrifically. Import magic weapons, buildings, perks. Save all, save, do that. Not going to lose sleep over us losing that save. Didn't look like we were going to be continuing onward anyways, but let's fire it back up and see if that maneuver. The issue though is that the knockback isn't going to be relative to the player location. It's going to be relative to the bow location. So how interesting. So whatever we've done has now made it so that we can't actually start a game. Like, I can click here, but I can't click on a challenge level. Am I using the M correctly? It certainly looks like I am. This does do this with them. I think this does not compute, but I'm surprised it's not working correctly. Let's expertly borked the game, indeed. Let's see. So I'm gonna reset it to this. Also, I was modifying power shot, which was not the one that I wanted to. So we got rid of the maneuver tag. We got rid of that. All right, let's see if we did that. Otherwise, we may need to do some more serious reverting of things. Oh, I didn't actually save the changes. Hold on. Please hold. There's a double skill effect. Hold on. Did I? Oh, there is. Yep. That could be what was causing it. Let's be brave and let's imagine that maybe that was what was causing it. I will say to all the naysayers out there, the fact that we've made it this far and this is the first time that I borked things is kind of impressive. Yeah, no worries, Ganthor. It's tiny text. Tiny text is tiny. I wish everyone was on a 40-inch monitor watching. That's all I will say on that front. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kovacs. I try. Let's see. Any chance? Uh-oh. Still no. All right, well, I think now that we've blown things up completely, we need to validate that we haven't corrupted anything. So I'm just going to revert back to the unmodified version. Let's make sure that we can actually get a game started. We'll probably go with this for another 40-ish minutes. Hopefully we'll get things back to normal, and then all right, yeah, so something we have changed has indeed caused the issue, which is interesting. All right, so what I'm going to do, given the situation, I'm going to close out our asset bundle extractor. Change the attack type to melee. I mean, I don't want it to be melee. Did I change it to melee? Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do this like so. Okay, so this, from my perspective, this is where things started to go wonky. So we're going to grab that, and then I'm going to reopen the bundle extractor. If I still have that available, there it is. We're going to open the asset file. We're going to refind our goodies. It'll only take a minute here. That is extremely accurate. Like it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, today I probably should have just put the code in the main window like you suggested on the first one. My goal here was to have to have these streams be kind of like half playing and testing and then half the other. But this one has turned out to be all code, I think, because we have a lot of really good ideas. Let's see, and then perks. All right, so now we have all of them. So now I'm going to expand them all out. We'll re-import our files, and we'll see if we can at least get back into the game. Okay, import melee. Import ranged. Import magic. Import buildings. Import perks. Save the asset mod file. Delete that. Copy that here. All right, big money, no whammies. Here we go. Let's see this work. Wonky is the technical term. Fits pleasure for sure. No, that did not actually resolve the issue, which is interesting. So all of a sudden, what would cause us not to be able to interact with any of those buttons? Try uploading. I did just try the original files and everything worked fine. Oh, wait, hold on. This might be the issue. My origin was outside of my area of effect. That's a pretty major mistake. Yeah, so I uploaded the base file and it worked just fine and we were able to start it up. So I bet it was what I just found there, though. The origin being outside is a very weird thing. It's surprising that it causes you not to be able to go in, but what can I say? The way that these things work is weird. Yeah, we'll look at it in a second, Garen. I want to get back to a baseline where we can actually enter the game. Call me crazy. Hey. Abigail, it's all available on the YouTube. I know it's not quite the same, but you can if you find the live stream there, you can scrub through the entirety of it, if you are so inclined. But yeah, that was an error, but not the error. So let's see. I'm gonna ditch some of these. Not that comments should make a difference. Unless I messed up my comments somewhere. But what other changes did we make? I haven't made any. The only change I made here was the total damage change, which I don't think that's been present for a while. Over here for the maneuver slash, no changes there. Yeah, that may be because I'm not affiliate. That's the only thing I could think of, Abigail. But that is odd. Let's see. Then we added can rotate here. We don't need that anymore. But at the moment, there aren't that many changes that would have... I wonder if there's just something I need to do with my save game to No, because it works just fine if we use the regular shared asset. It was working until we modified Power Shot. And right now, Power Shot is relatively unmodded. Like we can completely revert it. Except for the caster effect we know was working. So we'll leave those two for the time being, but let's do that, and we'll import our ranged file. This is very peculiar. This is what you get for modifying games that are not mod friendly. Okay, so at this point, the only thing I really did was delete some comments, which if comments are causing the issues, we have bigger fish to fry. Uh-oh. Okay, let's validate this once more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy in the normal asset file. Because now it could be changes that we made earlier and like something that we've done is preventing the game from starting. But that would be very weird. Some open omen slots. All right, we can do something else. But the fact that it was working before seems strange that would work that way. Let's validate that we can get a game started, though. And then I'll try swapping in my asset file just to see if that's the case. All right, let's exit. And then we'll see if it immediately corrupts this save file. That would be the next big indication. Oh, don't do that. That was not what I intended to do. Yep, that's what I'm doing, Garen. But even if that works, yes, absolutely, Abigail. Let me grab it. There you go. Yep. So yeah, you got that there for you. All right. It looks like this is going to once again corrupt the save file. Interesting. Huh. So we must have an error in one of our files that is more significant. All right. So let's see. A lot of these changes I know to be innocuous. This change here, we'll comment this out for the moment since we haven't figured out a way to make it sing. We know that change was in there. Move points was in there. Yep, those are all fine. That mana cost reduction is okay. Explosive arrows change was fine. Do I have... Let me see if I can grab an extension for doing XML validation. Let's see. What do you offer here? Let's see. VS Code extension provides support for creating and editing XML documents. Blah, blah, blah. Automatic tag renaming. Auto closing tags. Schema caching. All right, we'll try this out. We will accept Red Hat's whatever. Oh, and now they all show up as red tabs. What does that mean? What are you trying to tell me, XML thing? All right, so right off the bat, so cannot find declaration of element skill definitions. Got it. No, but the XML language support for VS Code was created by the Red Hat Foundation, interestingly enough. Schema failed to read schema file, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I have to find that. Yeah, okay, so it's actually gonna be really useful if I find the XSD files inside of the program, inside of the last spell program. But in the absence of that, it doesn't look like we're gonna get too much support other than one big error up at the top. So let's see, I wonder what I possibly could have broken. Let's see. So I'm going to go through these one by one and just see if everything that's opened gets closed. Area effect is matched. Skill action is matched. Damage multiplier is matched. Propagation has a close on it. Cast effects. This has been this way forever. We really haven't been doing much work outside of... We did make some changes here. I made this rotatable, which I don't think is the issue. Skill effects matches, multi-hits matches. This impale change remains one of my favorites. All right. So let's see. So we got the skill definitions. Unfortunately, that's not going to be... The armor piercing there is fine. And skill effects matches. So that's not the issue. Skill effects matches here too. These are old changes that we didn't really touch today. Area effect matches, damage multiplier matches. What did I remove here? Oh, I removed the stun. That was a while ago, though. Part of me is wondering if, like, just somewhere random, I, like, tossed a random, like, keystroke or something. Yeah, the problem, though, is that the rotate in Lustrous is on the origin of where you're targeting. So the way that it would rotate isn't mirroring along the horizontal, which is what I would want it to be. So the biggest change that we might want to revert temporarily is the change that we made to the perks. They could be the problem makers, or the troublemakers, as it were. Because this was a more sweeping change that I don't have. So what we'll do is let's keep our version, just to remind us. But I do want to see if maybe... Because I don't think we've restarted our game or tried to start a game since we made this change. So let's do this. I'd be impressed if this was the issue. I think this would be a weird one to be the issue, but unfortunately, once things go off the rail, all right, so now the only changes are 3 comment lines there. All right, so let's import everything here. Import melee, import ranged, import magic weapons, import buildings, which we haven't modified today, and then import perks. Save those like that. Copy those there, and let's fire it up. Oh, and if this doesn't work, we will have used most of our time, and we'll be switching over to the second piece of programming for our day. But oh, now we got a white screen of death. That's not looking too promising. Pour the last spell. I've murdered it. Oh, yes, I have. I forgot to rename the file. All right. It was hanging because there was no... There we go. Yeah, it was because I didn't rename the asset file that I dropped in. Okay, so with the perks changed? No? Still same deal. All right. Well, okay, let's go incremental here. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I killed the last spell unkindly. But I'm going to close down the asset extractor. And we're going to bring it back up again, hopefully, if I can find it. There it is. So we're going to load the clean file. The clean asset file. And then we're going to go through one by one and just add the specific things one at a time until we figure out which one is killing things. So to that end, we will start with skill definitions melee. Okay. So this is only our melee changes that I am importing right now. So the idea and the hope is that it should definitely work after we do this. Famous last words. Never surrender, never give up. Although I am looking forward to Wantless, I will say. Okay, so only melee changes. It works just fine. Good deal. All right. Next up is range changes. Now these, let's do magic changes next first. Because I think magic is definitely clean. And I want to save range for last, since I think that's the one that we botched. There we go. Okay. Again, we launch. Still good. All right. This is good. We're narrowing it down. I'm going to do ranged next. Because I suspect this one will break it. Oh, wait, what is this? Hold on a second. We got something weird going on here. Oh. What is going on here? Hold on a second. There's something weird. Obviously. The skill items definition for for ranged items is currently appears empty, which is very strange. So I want to export the data and just look at it before we go any further. So let's see. So I just exported that to my desktop. Okay, it does have stuff in it. It just wasn't showing up in the UI. That's a bug with the UI. But I will import this. Yeah, I will import our ranged file, which is located here. Then we will save and apply all, save, overwrite, delete, copy. All right, and if all goes according to plan, and we hope that it does, this will break our game. So, still fires up appropriately. There we go. Continue campaign, and please don't let me click. I can still click. Okay. So the change was not our ranged weapons changes, at least in their current form. So that means, what do we want to test next? I guess buildings? I feel like I had an issue with buildings in the past before. Let's look at... Which one are we in right now? We're in we got Sword of Damocles. This should be buildings. Yeah, nuclear barricade. Kaikaku. I'm not sure. Let's see. So we did change this to a generic, which I think is fine. Base damage is good. Stun is good. Base space. All right, let's reintroduce building changes and see if that breaks it. View data, import data from file. We got the buildings file. Skill definition buildings. Okay, that is correct. Kikaku equals plan. Oh, interesting. What what language is that? Okay, we'll get that going. We'll do that, and now our hope is that once again it works just fine. Famous last words. But yeah, my homework for this coming week is going to be finding the XSD files in the game files, which I'm interested in. I think that'll be cool. Okay. Building changes work too, which means that now we are down to just perk changes. And if this doesn't break anything, it's going to be bad news bears. But this, oh, I think I know what the problem was. I think I figured it out. So I think when I was importing the asset bundle for perks, I was importing it into the wrong place. I was importing into the skill definition, not the perk definitions, which exists here. Ah, I think I closed it and I reopened it, and that's probably when I messed it up. And as should be not a surprise to no one, if you write the wrong XML file to the wrong place, you're going to have a bad time. All right, big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies. Hey, nice. Okay. All right, so with all that fixed, the last thing we're going to try and do here is go back and re-add the maneuver to the short bow. Let's see, we can bring back this because this wasn't causing any problems. Same with this. We back. We in it. All right, so let's see. So now let's go back to... I'm going to make the change on precise shot here. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to make the origin be 0, 1. And then all we're going to do is grab maneuver from up here. That one's momentum. This one is maneuver. Goes in skill effects. Boom. There we go. So that's precise shot. So now it's going to be a teleporting shot, maybe. So let's bring it in. Ranged weapons, import. There we go. And then the other thing we're going to need to do is obviously we no longer have a test game. So we'll need to power our way through the early campaign. Actually, we can use Elderlicht. Do you ever get the shoot and get pushed back thing working? How did it work with bonus range? That's the issue, Abigail. That's what we're working on right now. Now that we've gotten the now that we've fixed the issue that we were having, I think the issue is the way that the XML defines a maneuver is based on a coordinate that is relative to the base of the targeting, basically. I'll grab this and I'll grab that. I'm just going to grab a bunch of materials and things to make things easier. That'll work. But yeah, we're just about to test that. I'm going to go into Glintfine because we can build a shop immediately and test things out. Oh, looks like we also got ourselves a short bow right off the bat. So the short bow is now a maneuver. Oh, how weird. Look at that. Yeah, so it's going to teleport us to 1 tile away. Is it possible to change the vector for the maneuver to negative of the attack? I don't believe so. I think what we could do is we could make it like teleport the user like 7 tiles away from the attack point. But first I just want to test this out. So let's just get you out here. Let's get everybody a little bit out just so that we can, you know, as we're testing things. And then we may or may not end up using this, but yeah, that bug that killed our game was a bummer. I'll grab one of these. We need a longbow. We'll grab one of those, one of those. All right, and then let's make sure everybody has a second weapon of some ilk. Okay, that looks good. Probably possible to do with the follow tag. So the follow tag, right, you replace an enemy that you kill. I guess here, let's confirm that the maneuver tag works the way that we think it does, though. Yep. That's really funky looking. We might be able to make something like this work. Oh. Or trying to do that crash the game. Okay. Noted. Yep. All right. So maneuvers with ranged weapons don't seem to be the happiest. Nice. Womp womp. Yeah. Game is now unresponsive, trying to figure out how to do a ranged maneuver like this. I'm a little surprised, honestly. I'm a little surprised that blew things up so badly. That struck me as a pretty innocuous change. But let's go in and make sure that we've at least fixed it. So pistol hook is follow, not maneuver. That's been asked a couple of times. The follow works differently because follow, you just take the place of the enemy that you killed. Maneuver, you do damage in a location, you move to a different location. Yeah. Oh, let's find teleport. I think that's an interesting one. That's going to be in skill definitions miscellaneous, I believe. So we can take a look at that. Yeah, stunning entrance. Yeah, same thing. It's so let's see. So skill definitions, do we have skill definitions miscellaneous doesn't have teleport. That's interesting. So item definitions, we have teleportation skill. What is this? Okay, so here's the definition of a warp crystal for those who are curious. So there is a specific type teleportation that has a mana cost associated with it, levels, etc., etc. Yeah, that doesn't... So apparently skill teleportation exists. I think that's really all we can take away from that. Unfortunately. All right, we got that there. Let's make sure. So if I come over here, I assume Vanish for Rogue Armor is going to be the same way, but we can check it out. So does this at least work? All right, we have undone the problem. We do have the charge popping up still here. Did I grab the armor? Body armors. Okay, so like, Vanish. Skill Vanish. Here we go. I'll bring it up so you guys can see as well. Thief Armor just has Skill Vanish. And then presumably there is a Skill Definitions Armor that maybe I didn't get. Or maybe it's Skill Definitions Other over here. Vanish. Yeah, here's Vanish. Pretty much the same thing. Yeah, so it is literally a maneuver. An area effect maneuver. Which is interesting. Because this leads me to believe that it should work the same as the attack that we did. There must be something missing from the blink shot concept that we went with. But unfortunately, given that we don't seem to be able to specify movement relative to our player, I don't know that it works for the things that we were trying to make it work for. Which is a bummer. Well, back to the drawing board, I guess. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where we got to. Of course, we updated the spreadsheet. We took a look at some things. We did some testing. We figured out charge and uncharge, although we haven't figured out conditionals yet, which may or may not be possible. The way that we're going to make progress on that, though, is by figuring out how to extract the schemas for the XML so we can see what properties can get put on things. So that's, Tukey, that's literally what I've been talking about. The issue is I do not know where the schemas are stored. So neither, if we bring this up, I'll bring this up one more time here. The thing that I'm using to explore the assets is Asset Studio, which is this interface here. And if I load the last spell folder, I get a huge asset list, right? Contains all types of things. As far as I can tell, there's no XSDs listed here. The word schema doesn't show up in any of the exportable assets. So I'm gonna need to do a bit of a deeper dive to try and figure out where it's located. It would be a text asset, so we can like at least limit it to that. But largely, I've only found, like, you know, each of the schema files, if we bring one up here, apologies for that being the wrong size. So the namespace declaration has no namespace, schema location, and then just a XSD file. There's no path inside of it. I think you can see what I'm seeing here in the namespace. So we just need to find this file. It exists somewhere, but it's definitely somewhere in the game files, but I am not sure where it lives. Like, it's not hosted somewhere, so it's got to be somewhere in the game files, which makes sense. The game can be played offline. So, but yeah, XML doesn't show up in here. XSD doesn't show up in here. We have the resource assets, which there are some things that are very interesting in here, for sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to do some digging around to find it. I think it's somewhere. I know it's somewhere. The game is accessing it, so it's not. I mean, like, here, I'll bring over the resources file. It seems like it's packaged up somewhere. I don't see anything that looks to me like raw XML or XSD files in here. We have resources. We have the Unity default resources and the Unity built-in extras. Yeah, it's definitely stuck somewhere. Got some DLLs. Those wouldn't contain it. Lots of DLLs here. Don't see any XSDs. I'll use Windows search just to confirm. Yeah, no XSD files. But anyways, that's okay. That takes us to where we need to get to, and I will take the burden of figuring this out before next stream. Yeah, so the files we're dealing with are compressed .asset files. That's what we are operating on, and that's what we are extracting using the Unity bundle extractor. It is possible. That's okay. This is another thing that's worth checking. So I've only been editing shared assets 0, which is just the assets for, this is just like the main assets file, and it has a bunch of unnamed assets. But let's really quickly, let's scroll through and at least see what the different types are. So we have type transform, type text assets. We got texture assets, then we got text assets. I would assume it would be a text asset. We got sprite renders, sprites, lots of sprites. We have mono behaviors, audio clips, canvases, animations. Yeah, so it's got to be a text asset, which doesn't help us too terribly much because we kind of already knew that, and we can see all of them in Asset Studio, and none of them have looked particularly. Currently no outline. What are those? Okay, so let's take a look through this. So we got our asset, we got our affix definitions, but these are all. I find it strange that each one of these gets listed twice. Some part of me makes me think that one of those is the instance data where one of them is the schema, but oh, I need to filter. It's text asset, but it's already. Why is it? Oh, interesting. But yeah, we have a filter. Oh, XSD. Regex container, no. Yeah, we can exclude XSD, but that's not doing us any good. So yeah, so there's multiple shared asset files. We have the category panel, the tutorial text box, and we can look at some of what's available in them here. Mod item. Interesting. Shared assets 4 has fire damage stuff in it. That's at least interesting. Some of these may be provided by... I mean, there's magic circle stuff in there. Skill definition is the file that we've been editing. There are many skill definition files. But there's bosses, braziers, buildings, enemies, items of various types, miscellaneous, whatever. But none of them are a schema definition. One thing I can do, I won't do it now, but one thing I can do is I think I can dump everything. Yep, nuclear barricades are interesting, for sure. At some point, if we can figure out a way to re-enable them, I do want to take a look at them. But yeah, just looking here, I don't see anything off the cuff that looks like an XSD file. You know, and we could go through these like every single one, just seeing if any of them look correct. Like, if any of them don't have a namespace, but they're all so specific. Anyways, we've reached the point where I was hoping to kind of like move on to greener pastures. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave this for the moment. We will be back next week, and I will have more info when we get there. The main thing is if you're interested in chipping in or helping or tinkering yourself, joining the Discord is the best place to talk about both the balance changes that we've made and the other things. So I'm going to go ahead and put those links there. And yeah, if you're over in Twitch land, hopping on over to YouTube and tossing me a sub is a great way to help the channel. But the plan right now is I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to minimize that. We're waiting for the last spell to close. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the next game that we are playing, which is we're going to go back and we're going to take another look at Wantless, which we had a lot of fun with last week, but we were getting our butt kicked towards the 11th hour. So if you're interested in hanging around for that, would love to have you, but it was fun nonetheless. So let's see. Let me grab this. And I'll get the stream up and running after I take a quick break on the side of things. So give me a moment. I'm going to use the restroom, rehydrate, etc., and I will be right back in just a minute. All right, let's do the thing. Let's switch over. So, be right back, YouTube folks. If you are so inclined, you'll find your way to the next stream. Would love to have you there. But let's do the